This is Module 4, Lesson 8 homework, and number 1 is asking the students to rewrite the following expressions as shown in the example. So we did this a couple of different ways in class. So what this is asking them to do is 5/3 plus 5/3 plus 5/3, but we know that that could equal 5/3 times 3, and then we can take that to mean 5/3 times 3 over 1, which equals 5 times 3 over 3. And then we can even simplify and say, well, I know that 3 and 3, I could say 3 goes into 3 once and 3 goes into 3 once, and I have 5. 5 times 1 is 5, and then 1, which equals 5. And that's how we would work those ones. That's what we learned today. Some students are still having a hard time seeing this, this simplifying through here. And they're kind of asking that question, well, why would we have to do that? Can't we just simplify afterwards? And the answer to that is that our numbers get much larger, and so they're going to need to know how to simplify before they start multiplying 5 times 82, and then so on. So for number 2, letter A, it's asking us to do 2 different ways. So this is kind of a strange example of what we learned earlier. But what we are doing is that we can do 3/4 of 16, which we learned how to do that with the tape diagram last week, and that's what the students feel really comfortable with right now. We have 16, and we're going to break it up into 4 equal pieces. 16 divided by 4 equals 4, so I know each one of these is worth 4. If I have 3 of these sections, I have 12. So I know that 3/4 of 16 is 12. Now, the way that we worked it today to get that same thing but to show it mathematically instead of in a tape diagram is that we would do 16 times 3/4, or 16 copies of 3/4. And then we can say that we have 16 over 1 times 3/4, which equals 16 times 3 over 4. And then I can see that 4 goes into both 4 and 16. 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 16 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12, and then 12 over 1. So we should notice that our answer here of 12 should match our answer over here, and that we're doing the exact same thing. When we go to the back, you can see that our numbers get much larger, so that if we have 18 times 5 over 12, we get up 18 over 1. And then we have 18 times 5 over 12. I know that 6 goes into 12 twice, and 6 goes into 18 3 times, and that I have 3 times 5 is 15, and then 2. So I have 15 halves, and then I can change this into 2 goes into 15 7 times with 1 left over, and it's 7 1/2. Now that's a lot easier to simplify than saying 18 times 5 divided by 12. So if we simplify, it makes our life easier in the end. When we come down here, some of the kids were a little thrown off by this today. It's the same thing. So I know that I'm really just finding out if I have a tape diagram and I have 60 and I'm dividing it up into thirds, I'm saying, well, what's 60 divided by 3? And I know that's 20. So 1/3 of a minute is 20 seconds. And then we could find out 4/5 of 60, and so on, using the same techniques. Down here with the grams, it just the larger number still seems to kind of complicate things for the students. So if I have 1,000, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I need to know what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them are. I know that 1,000 divided by 10 equals 100. So each one of these is worth 100. No, that 100 times 7 equals 700. So 7/10 of a kilogram is 700 grams. It's the same thing. And that's how we are working those.